I've noticed by doing the courses and listening to the content, it's like way more easier to get like things done with the borrowers. I'm like disarming them.
Hmm.
It's like less of a hassle to try to, make that sale.
Right.
Like I was already like doing pretty well with like producing. Like I was always, always in the top 20 percentile, but
Hmm.
I'm trying to get to like top five.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's helping me get there for sure. Like I've seen a boost and my day is less stressful because I'm not dealing with buyers anymore. Like I don't have the issue of a non-committed borrower as much as I used to.
Right.
Like I know that if I put something in, the only reason why it's not going to fund is because it's something with an appraisal or something, on the back end that we just, didn't see.
Okay.
But I don't have that issue with non-committed borrowers anymore. And I think that's like the main thing that, the content has done for me. Because I was never a natural salesman. Like,
Yeah.
never. Like, bro, like,
Yeah.
I was so monotone. Like, it
Yeah.
was ridiculous, bro. Like, when I started in the industry, I was just like reading the app, like word for word,
Yeah.
reading the scripts. And I was like, could I do this? Could I do this? I don't know if I
Yeah.
could do this, dude.
This is what you call a flip. 10 keys from a car to brick. Bentley from his mama whip. KOD, he hard as
On the consistency side of it, did you want to elaborate on that? What did you?
Like, so I would have like really strong months, like maybe top five in the company in like originations or fundings. And then I would have like pretty mediocre, like average on the floor kind of month. Like I would say like 2 months ago, I had a month where I put in like 29 deals, right? It's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
And then next month it was like 17. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And I literally just went into that next month like, let's go. I'm going for like 35. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like there was this 2 week stretch, like right in the beginning of the month, and I'm like, I didn't change anything.
Yeah.
It's like then I start to get in my head like it's fucking leads. Like I
Yeah.
know I could sell. I know I'm saying the same exact shit that I said last month, and
Hmm.
then that's when I get frustrated. I'm telling my manager, I'm like, yo, you need to change this up. I don't know what you want from me. Like
Yeah.
I'm here doing exactly what I did last month, and then they're like, no, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. I'm like, bro, I know what I'm doing. Like, and then so it's just those little things like those week, 2 week stretches. I think that's when I have the hardest time, like, trying to push through that. It's not more so like the whole month because I know like throughout the whole month, if I just stay consistent, put in the hours, regardless of what I do, I just know my work ethic and, consistently trying to like learn my craft and, listening to sales stuff all the time.
Hmm.
Like I'll be okay. I'm never going to be below average. So that's not what I'm, you know, focused on is because I know that I'll be okay. It's
Sure.
just like, how do I stay at that the top, like
Yeah.
every month, because there's like those patches, right? And I don't know what it is. It's like, there's always those 1 to 2 week patches. Like this month, I had a strong month. It was like first 2.5 weeks, I had 18 deals. And then last week and a half, I had five. And I
Mm.
was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah.
doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
and then my manager says, it's just a numbers game, like, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're always. I think they're always gonna tell you that. That's
Yeah,
always the default. Oh, it's a numbers game. And that's corporate. That's corporate
yeah,
talk right there. Where I feel your pain is that we just want that bitch to be consistent. You know what I mean? Just like fucking,
right,
hey man,
right.
if I do A, B, and C, I should always get X, Y, and Z, right? Like it just
Yeah,
it's science. And so like when I personally, of course, I went through that, and I went through that for a long time. Like just numbers was inconsistent, and what I found was that when I was setting my goals, I usually would set it at the beginning of the month, right, with my manager usually. And we didn't, the number was a little bit different. Like we don't normally hit above 25, like in our engine, right? Like
yeah,
as a single agent. Like in my platform, if you do 8 loans a month, you're doing good. It's just
right,
weird. It's a
right.
different cycle, and it's probably because we're just smaller. But where I'm getting at is whatever the number is. ultimately your fundings or your submissions should net you X amount of dollars is what you're looking for, right?
Right.
And the reason why that's important is because you're going to strive for that a little bit more favorably. You're gonna have a little bit more tied to it. So if you say, hey, I need $20,000 per month, you have to almost work your goal backward from there, right? So if you know that in order to hit 20K, for example, it was 30 units, then you need to average a unit per day, right? Or if you crunch it up to 20 days. And so I would say that my strongest recommendation to you is that when you set your goal, it has to be something that you set based on your company's engine. So if you know that, regardless, every single week I need to do 10 sales or whatever, or 10 originations, that will net me to my ideal number of 20 grand per month. Then you break that down on a daily basis, and you reset every single day. Yeah. Because what holds us back, or what kind of sits on our head or gets into our head, is when we are bringing in the past, right? Does that make sense? So when we're looking at like, oh man, Monday through Wednesday, I didn't originate shit. I need something today. How come I didn't originate? Is it my style? Is it what I'm saying? Is it these leads? And ultimately what it is just not resetting every single day and saying, hey, today I need to get my 2, right? I need to get my 2 sales, for example. That's my floor. That's my team, Right. And their 2 points are either an origination, like a full file to elevate to processing, or a lock, right? So every single day they're looking for 2. And what happens is what I've noticed is when you do it from a daily level, it's easier to hit 2, right? And even if you don't hit 2, you just hit 1, the next day it's all good. Start all over and hit 2. That's all you need to do, right? And what happens is you're going to take even if you work 6 hours a day, you're going to take that 6 hours and then dissect it in a way that yields your 2, because that's the whole goal. It's not 10 for the week. It's not 40 for the month. You know what I mean? It's just how the fuck am I going to get my 2? And when you start thinking and operating this way, it becomes habit. And so now my team, it's every single day they're doing a dub, right? And so ultimately, but from a macro, they're actually doing about 40 points per month. Does that make sense? So 2 points per day, and they don't need to work on the weekends, but some of them do. Some of them are just engines, they don't stop working. And I personally didn't want to do that. I didn't always want to be in the office, I wanted to make my money dip and go do me, go be with my family. Right. I didn't want to be at work as much more than I needed to. So with finding consistency, I think you're doing it right, because it sounds like you put some time aside to study your craft, and that's going to help you be more efficient with the sales cycle. But if you find yourself spending a lot of your time going in a direction that's not netting you your 2 points or your daily goal, then I would eliminate and delegate those tasks. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because when you get a full pipeline and you have a lot on your CRM, we tend to become comfortable, right? Because we know we got the business there. Does that make sense? So we're not as hungry, like right now, for example, at the end of this week, there's only, let's say 3. Then you're a little bit hungrier going into Monday because all you know is that 3. But if you have a pipeline that's full and you're doing good, unknowingly, subconsciously, we kind of ease up because we know like, oh man, we're top dog right now. Does that make sense? Yeah. You got to ignore that part and just say, hey man, my daily, everything's per day.
Right. Gotcha. So kind of break it down like on a micro level, like day to day.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's key. It's important. But what you break down is not what your team expects of you, right? It's not what your manager expects of you. It's what you expect of yourself. Yeah. So the grind, that the struggle, right? The nuances, the tedious parts. So you got to come to the line and say, hey man, how much am I worth, or what am I going to do this grind for?
Yeah.
and almost consider like, okay, well, if these other people, and it's like those 5 agents who are consistently at the top, and I'm like, man, if these fuckers could do, 40 per month every single month, then I know I can do 40 per month every single month too. I just need to figure out what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
And you're going to notice that a lot of them some of them just know how to orchestrate, and delegate. So they know how to sell operations just like they know how to sell the prospects.
Right.
Right. And then operations will give them preferred treatment. You see what I'm saying? Where it was a challenge for me, trying to earn that, because whether people thought I was too young, like, oh man, this kid, who is he? Let me talk to the older agent. And that fucked with me for a minute, until I made noise through production, and they naturally couldn't ignore me. They're like, oh dude, this dude's a major player, and my last name was pretty distinctive. So Nikart, right? It's a pretty distinctive name. And so I knew that, and I treated that as a brand. And you could do the same, right? Like that name is just becomes a brand. And so it's little things that will help you become more efficient per day is actually fostering the relationship between your counterparts. So if you have operations, or if you have, like in my company, for example, before my loan goes to processing, it goes through a loan officer assistant and then a production assistant. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I've befriended them in a completely different way, where they're more motivated to do more for me.
Right.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I make them laugh. I make them feel cool. I make them feel like I have this different relationship with them. That no other, because you have to remember these support roles are being treated like shit by most of the loan officers, right? They're kind of being treated like grunts. And so if you come at them in a different way, I'm not saying that you have to, kiss their ass or hang out, be their friend, but just come at them in a completely different way. They'll be more attracted to work for you.
Dope. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the consistency in order to put yourself in that realm, really watch from afar what they're doing, not what they're doing as far as what they're saying. I'm talking about like the positioning that they have in your operation, so in other words, when their name is mentioned, what do you hear? Like, oh man, James fucking killed it again, dude. James is always killing. Well, James is killing it because he does A, B, and C. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're listening to. Yeah. Right. Things like that.
Walk talking like a boss, I just lift a hand. 3 million cash, call me Rain Man. Money like a shower, that's my rain dance.